Arc raiders can be real frustrating, especially when you're on your own. No teammates to revive you, no one to watch your back, and every mistake feels like it's been instantly punished. If you ever felt overwhelmed trying to survive on your own, you're definitely not alone. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 essential tips that'll help you stay alive longer, make smarter decisions, and actually enjoy the solo experience the game has to offer. Whether you're brand new or just tired of getting wiped out of the battlefield, these tips are going to give you a real advantage. As usual, I'd really appreciate if you hit that sub button, it means the absolute world to me. And also hitting that notification bell for my weekly uploads. I'm sure you've heard that many times, so without further ado, let's get right into the video. First tip I'm going to go over then is an obvious one, but getting used to the maps. The more experienced players that have obviously put several hours into the game, this is going to be easy for you because I'm sure you've been on the maps and kind of explored them thoroughly and kind of got used to where certain loot spots are and kind of the best ones. But for the newer players, you know, finding those first 3 kind of loot spots you can kind of get familiar to and you can go back to in each game, so you can go there, know where you're looting, and get straight out. I find a lot of solo players now tend to run to the higher tier areas, which obviously is going to give you the highest chance of loot, which is always good, but then is always the highest chance of players. And then more often than not, about 90% of my solo games end up turning into a team deathmatch, which is not ideal. So just finding those areas that are not as popular, but again, you can get a nice bit of loot. You can kind of know where loot spots are straight away. Get out as quickly as possible. It's going to be great. If you are wanting PvP, Stellamontis is going to be a perfect map. Very close quarters kind of map. As a solo, I probably wouldn't advise doing this, but if you are going to, I would highly advise using a free loadout. Because obviously that loot is given to you, is provided, so you're not exactly losing anything. But then again, Stellamontis does have some very nice loot, so if you do manage to get out, you should get rewarded quite nicely if you do manage to make it out. For a more experienced player, then this might be a bet, but for the newer players, I would advise kind of sticking to the bigger maps. You have that bit more chance of getting out then. The second tip then I want to go over is using an appropriate loadout. I guess the first kind of loadout you can use is obviously a free loadout. You should have heard them by now. If not, go and check my previous video. I kind of go more in depth in it, but using that will be a big help. Essentially not losing any items when you're going in because all the items in the free loadout are given to you. But if you decide not to, then using a loadout that is going to kind of support you in as many scenarios as possible. So like in my last video, if you haven't checked that out, go ahead. I say about using a gun with a stronger arc armor penetration, which is going to be great against your arc enemies. And also a high damage as well, so it can also be good in long ranges against players. But then also using that more quick fire gun with a higher fire rate for those close encounters. This then you're equipped for basically every scenario in terms of your gun. And then what I'd advise doing is stocking up on your meds, then making sure you have enough that when you're in there you can comfortably go through gunfights if need be. The most important thing I think as a solo is grenades, especially trigger grenades. They're my recommendation if you get a blueprint, but they are great grenades. I would say overpowered. I think a lot of people would agree with me, but if you come across groups of enemies, grenades are going to be your best friend to deal with them. Also another thing then, adrenaline shots. I didn't go over them in the last videos in depth, but I think they're a must just in general in the game, but especially as a solo player. So you can restore stamina, so if you're low and you start getting shot at, you can quickly pop one of them and try and get out of there as quickly as possible. And then if you're a nice person, like me, no I'm not a nice person, but using a defibrillator, or bringing one with you, will allow you to pick up other players. So if you are that nice person, then you can help them out. As a final tip in terms of your weapons, I recommend at least one gun having a silencer. That's going to reduce the noise of your gun. In other words, might lower the chance of an enemy hearing you. Or the main benefit, in my opinion, is arc hearing your gunshots if you do either find a player or get in a bit of a pickle with other arc enemies. It's essentially deafen your shots to the arc and they will not come after you, and also might lower that chance of other players hearing you as well. So a great tool to have if you can do. But if not, no worries, it's not a must. And then one final thing then, just for your loadout in general, is if you are planning on going to a room with a key, I would recommend bringing either door blockers or mines. They're obviously going to act as like an alarm if anyone tries to sneak up on you while doing so. So just bringing them can kind of make you aware of any intruding players. Great asset to have when playing solo. Third tip I want to go over then is stealth, which is really underutilized in the game, I think. A lot of beginners just running around like headless chickens, through rooms, jumping, sliding, all that sort of stuff. Stealth can honestly make the difference in a gunfight, getting the first bullet in and getting you that win in the gunfight. It's happened to me on so many occasions when I'm just slowly walking about and then there's a guy rushing me through a door, clueless that I'm there, and I managed to pick up the kill. So making sure you are trying to be as quiet as possible when moving around the map. That sound, people rely heavily on it, so making sure you are eliminating that factor and you have that upper hand essentially. The other thing in terms of stealth then is looting. I would try and avoid breaching things as a solo as much as possible, because that is when you're at your most vulnerable. So you mid animation, somebody could walk in at any point, they use that sound cue and they could find you pretty easy because the sounds are so loud in this game. Tracking you will be no problem. So just looting little lockers, cabinets, the ones that don't make so much sound essentially, and don't require your tool to open, can literally save your life in many cases. Also trying to avoid arc as much as possible, because if you've been playing the game long enough, you know when attacking them, they can make some fairly loud sounds which are going to attract all kinds of people around you. So just trying to keep that to a minimum. It's going to keep you alive in a lot of cases, so just trying to avoid them as much as possible. I know it isn't easy at times, sometimes you have to, but just when you can, just try and do so. Fourth tip I'm going to go over then is your communication. Your microphone is going to be your best friend in terms of encountering other players. Make them aware of your intentions and what you plan on doing and whether you're friendly or not, because a lot of the time if you don't decide to speak and you stay quiet, they're going to see that as an enemy. But using that mic as much as you can be the difference between surviving and dying. So many scenarios they've saved me and has resulted in me in getting out. Otherwise, if I'm going to be honest, I probably would have ended up dying. Using that mic as much as possible when needed, obviously, otherwise it could give your location away. So making sure you're not using the open mic feature rather than the toggle. The final tip then I'm going to go over is just player counters in general. I just see far too many people rushing certain encounters when they have the upper hand while they're looting or something. I see them get too carried away, go for the gunshot straight away, and they end up fluffing their shots, and then as a result then gets them killed. Not saying I haven't done this, because I have done this before, but over the time I've been playing the game, I've kind of got used to the fact that patience is key. So using patience as much as possible, making sure you are capitalizing on them when they're an easy target essentially, because that could be the difference between an easy gunfight and a longer gunfight. A longer gunfight is then going to result in other players possibly even joining this, and as a result would get you killed, making life much harder for you. So using that patience then is going to make your gunfights a lot shorter, allow you to loot, get out of there before somebody can capitalize on the sound. As I said earlier, sound is so important in this game. So many people capitalize on sound and rely on sound to find players, making sure you're keeping sound to a minimum and also being very efficient with your time as well. It's the exact same with extracting really. If you were going to rush your extraction, there's a good chance you're going to get yourself killed, so just making sure that you were checking your surroundings, being patient, maybe waiting a few seconds before jumping in the lift just to see if there's any players about that'll react to the doors opening. I know many players in this game like waiting at the lifts, camping at the lifts. As soon as you get in, they'll throw grenades and all sorts. So just making sure you are just patient with your time so you can have that upper hand. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. It's a bit shorter than the previous, I know, but some people like the shorter content, and I think with this type of video, it just needs to be quick and snappy with tips to help you guys out. As I said at the start of the video, I'd really appreciate if you hit that sub button, hit that bell, greatly helps the channel. Any kind of video suggestions you got for me that you want me to cover, leave them down in the comments. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.